Alright guys, welcome back to class. In this section of the video, we are going to be talking about how to create invoice in more details and what invoice is. Well, invoice is a document issued to a customer when he purchased a product from you, or you rendered a service to a customer and he did not pay you immediately. That is when you're going to use invoice. So that is just the simple definition of what invoice is. So we're going to look at how to raise this invoice in QuickBooks. So let's go to our QuickBooks and do that immediately. So if you open your QuickBooks, because invoice has to do with customers, so everything that has to do with customer are found in one place. It's either you come to the customer tab on the desktop on the dashboard here, or you go to the customer tab on the menu. When you go to the menu, you now look for where to see create invoice, or you do Control I. It's going to give you the same thing. So if you click create invoice, now it will load up the invoice dialog box. So when you open up the invoice dialog box, like these are all the commands that has to do with the invoice. You can create new invoice from here, you can save the invoice from here too, or you can delete the invoice, you can create a copy of the same invoice, you can memorize the invoice. We are going to come to all this later on in the video. That's going to be a bonus aspect of this video, so you have to make sure that you watch this video from the beginning to the end, and you also follow us in our community group, so that whenever we upload new updates, you will get those as well. So one thing I would like to do, because I don't want anytime I'm creating an invoice, I should be having a kind of memo reminder here. So I'll have to uncheck this, because if I did not print this and this thing is checked, I will have it pile up in this place. So I'll have to uncheck this print later. So when I uncheck it, immediately I create the invoice, it's saved, and I will not have any reminder about the invoice except the due date. When the invoice is due, I will now receive that reminder. Alright, so when you open it, we have under the customer and job tab here, you select the name of the customer. Now you select the name of the customer. So when you select, oh, this is not the company we are supposed to be using, this is another company actually. So let me open the company we have been using for this class. Sorry, let me go there, open. Yeah, this is the company we have been using. I think this will require us to enter the administrative password. Alright, see, this is what I'm saying. So administrative password, I'll just enter it and click OK. This is the company we have been using. We will go back and do the same thing we have done. Close off this place and come to customers. Either you come to this place and create invoice. So when you do that, you come to your customer tab here, you select the name of the customer. Let's say the customer we want to supply to is this person, or we're going to create a couple of invoices though. So when we do that, we now say, okay, we have the person need 10, 5, let's say. The item code we have, you can either use item code or item name, it's still the same thing. But QuickBooks, QuickBooks has to do with code. Is easier to track items, because we cannot have two the same item code in a document, so it's a kind of a unique identifier. That's why people prefer to use code, because we can never have that code twice in a database. But here we're using name, just like we have mode, we have do big mode, we have this. So let's say we are supplying this. Alright, because we set this item up, QuickBooks automatically assigns set tasks. Okay, yes, we want that. So that's what I was saying when we were creating our inventory. I said it is best, or it is a good idea for you to know your VAT exclusive rate and your VAT inclusive rate. If you charge if your selling price for a product is VAT exclusive, that means automatically you apply the VAT rate on that item. It will calculate the total price or the total value of that item. So that is what we're having here. You can see the cost of the item is 37,750, but when you include the VAT, it's not going to give us 4581. So that is what we are having here as the total value of the item. But if it is VAT exclusive, that means this is like this selling price is VAT exclusive. That is what it means. So when you now include the VAT, when you now include the 7.5%, you will have this. But if your selling price is VAT inclusive, what you need to do is to remove the VAT from it, apply non-VAT tax. You apply 0 VAT on it, so it will just give you original VAT. That means you are going to calculate the VAT independently. So QuickBooks is not going to calculate the VAT for you, so you have to go back and do it. But what is the essence of having an application that you cannot track VAT? So that if there's any other adjustment you need to do, it will be easier for you to do it. So I think it's wise, if you're setting up our prices should be VAT exclusive, so that when we are tracking the VAT, we know okay, this is the portion that has to go to sales revenue, and this is the portion that has to go to taxable tax liability, which is the VAT. So that is one thing you have to bear in mind. And also it will allow us to adjust the VAT, because you don't just collect VAT and you remit immediately. You have to adjust it. When you are filling the VAT form, you have to adjust your VAT output and your VAT input to get the total VAT you're supposed to pay at the end of the day. So it is a nice thing. It is a nice idea to always set your item pricing, your selling price as VAT exclusive, so that you know that isolately, and when you isolate the VAT, you have this as your selling price. Another way you can do this VAT, let me just tip it in right now. Another way you can do this VAT is, if you are confused on how to actually calculate this VAT, is to know, okay, what is the selling price, the current selling price in the market. Now when you now remove the current selling price in the market, then you now look at, okay, if you apply 7.5% of that value to VAT, how much is going to give you? Or you go back and say, okay, the selling price in the market, because not everybody in the market actually use a QuickBooks application, so you want your pricing should compete, because one of the motivation people have to come and patronize your business is based on price, and maybe other standard, but price first. So the pricing should either be lesser, but not lesser than the cost, of course. So either be lesser than what they're selling in the market, or should be equal to what they're selling in the market. So if you're doing that, you have to also consider your VAT. So that's one thing you have to pay attention to. So all right, so that is it. So let's say we are supplying 2 items to this person. We say this is gonna be 2 and 3. Let's say we are selling this to him. Oops, where did I press? Don't worry, this is computer. All right, so we have it here. As here, it has automatically calculated everything. It has automatically calculated everything for us. So this is what we have. So when we are done with creating the invoice, we go ahead and say save and new or save and close. Let's do save and new, so that we enter a couple of invoices for another customer. Save and new. We have saved that. So let's say this person we are supplying let's say 10 bags or 10 packs of whatever we are selling to the person. This, then we have these 2 to be 20. I doubt we have that quantity again. I said it. Now that's one sweet thing about QuickBooks. If an item is out of stock, the moment you select it, you have this. But it will give you the opportunity. It's giving you the opportunity to us to either say, okay, go ahead, override this instruction. Maybe the items have been supplied already, but they have not been entered in QuickBooks, or they have not been updated. You can say, okay, go ahead. You can see, okay, no problem. You just okay. no problem. Just click okay, and it will just generate the invoice. So we have this. Let's say we are going again. This is one of our biggest customer. Say we're going again for 20 this. The same thing happens. We already have minus 15 earlier on, so we just go ahead, because we're going to receive items. We're going to also enter those items. So go ahead and say save, ignore this all. So we have entered a couple of invoices for this person, so that is what we are going to be doing here. Now we have entered a couple of invoices, or should we enter more? Let's enter more. Okay, let's leave it like that. We have entered a couple of invoices, so that is how we are going to. Now what we are going to be looking at next is to see how we are going to track those invoices and see, maybe it's up to days and we're supposed to have received the payment already, but we have not gotten the payment. How do we know the customers that are overdue for payment? How do we know the customers that are overdue for payment? Now if you look at here, there is this reminder. Now this reminder is one way to find out your overdue invoices. You can see today being Tuesday 5th November, you can see business service message. You can see you have a form to send. So if this is as a result of printing or email that we selected, so what you need to do is double click on it. You will now see which of the forms are you supposed to print or send. So this is the form you're supposed to send. So this is an invoice you're supposed to send, because when you created this, you check the email part of it. So you just have to, these are the details of where the invoice is going. All right, so if you want to send everything at once, you can just click and send via email. It will send to the individual emails, as you can see, but this is not what we're supposed to, what we are interested in. So if I double click on it, I open it, other we're supposed to print, but we have not printed. So that's one thing. I don't want this my reminder to be choked up with a lot of irrelevant things like printing, though the printing can be necessary, but I don't want that. I can just uncheck anytime I'm raising an invoice or sales order. I will just have to uncheck that print aspect of it. Then we have bills to pay, so this is also important. Now this is a bill we are supposed to pay to our supplier. This bill payment, we are still going to come to that. We have overdue invoices, so these are the overdue invoices we're supposed to. Now when it's now overdue, what you're supposed to do is contact the customer, asking how far we have not received your payment for this item. I hope all is well, and something like that. So we just go ahead and resend the invoice again, so that the person will see it. But this is for prints. I don't need the print actually. What I need is just the reminder that the invoice is overdue. So we have to. So you can see that this is always going to be there. So you can check all these things. This is the tax remittances we are supposed to do. So tax remittances we are supposed to do. The tax we have collected in the previous one, we are supposed to remit, and we have not remitted. That is why we are having this as a reminder too. So you can just uncheck the prints. We uncheck the print and you click save and close. I don't want that reminder button to be choked up. So that is not what we actually want to do in this section of the class. And what we want to do is to track our payment. So another way to do it, remember that I said everything that has to do with customers is organized in one place. So if you don't find what you're looking for on the dashboard here, so another place you can find that is come to the customers menu, because it has more options for you. So when you open the customer sections, you now see, okay, what do we want to do? We want to check how many people are owing us. So that's where we have the income tracker. So when you click on the income tracker, now the income tracker is going to actually show you how much unpaid invoices you have, and your overdue invoices and your paid invoices. That is basically what you're seeing here. The unpaid, these are the unpaid invoices, and I think these are the ones we just created. They are the two invoices we just created. And overdue invoices, this is the one that showed us on the reminder that time. on the reminder section, this is the one we are seeing because it's overdue. Now these are the paid invoices. These are the ones that have been cleared. So if you look at the status here, you can see paid. If you look at here, you can see overdue. If you look at here, you see it's still open. The status is still open because it's not yet overdue. When it is overdue, you see it here and everything will be moved to red. Now when you look at it, you can see pending, as payment has not been received for this item. So now in the next section of the video, we're going to look at how to receive payment against an invoice. Yeah, it's very, very important how to receive payments against an invoice and when to receive payment. How to receive payments against, and the two types of the two ways to record receipts and sales to receive payment in QuickBooks. So let's go into that.